Hi there, everyone. Welcome to My Grade. So, this is just a sharing piece with all of you. So, it's grading made visible, okay? So, how is Miss F doing the marking or the giving of the mark or the grade and writing down the report cards? So, on my end, I'm sure it's also true for all teachers here. We are always guided by these guidelines in the recovery learning document of Manitoba Education. Okay, so what is in here? So this is what guides my marking and my doing of the report cards. So it says here, so all students will receive a final grade and a report card in June as outlined in the Manitoba Education COVID-19 response plan. Marks will be based at minimum on the student's performance at the time of the suspension of learning. However, students will have an opportunity to improve their mark. So, what is that? How does that look like? So, you will be given a baseline mark, which is an average of your term one and term two. So we do that by adding term one plus term two divided by two. That is what is referred to as the baseline mark. Now, why are we doing that? So by the provincial guidelines again, this is part of the document. It says that it is just proper and just that the interim and final grades be included in considering the achievement from the earlier terms, which is true because what if you got a better mark in term one compared to term two? So it is wise, and I think it's more just if we take the average then of the two term marks. So on my grade book, this is how it's going to look like. So this is for grade 7. I also have the same run of things for the other grades, but let's just take a good look at what I have here. So whatever would be your term 1 mark, the column here in red, and also term 2 marks, the column in red here. I take the average, and whatever that average is, that would be the baseline mark, or what I have here as the pre-COVID mark. So this would be your current mark before we have the COVID break. So if you decided, or maybe it is really not in your hands, you were unable to just do the online assignments, then that's what you're going to see in your report card, an average of term one and term two. But let's say you did little, some, or most of the assignments, then we will refer to that as your remote learning marks. And that would be turned in assignments from March 23rd to June of this year, right? So if I click that in Google Classroom, everything is laid out. Let's say I'll just pick on maybe grade nines here. Uh, the turn in assignments starting from March 23rd, right, to April to May and the June, right? So notice usually we have multi quizzes. We did not have that during our remote learning, right? So instead of that, we had the assessment with the digital flip books. So for those who did this, thank you so, so much, right? And that will just hopefully boost up your marks and not just be static at the baseline mark. So here, now when you get your report cards, it will essentially be the same thing. There would be the comments. Uh, as of this time of the recording, um, we were advised to include one strength, one challenge, and then one next step. And of course, a comment on your online learning engagement or behavior during the pandemic. Now, I know for sure there would be recovery steps um, prepared for you guys once you come back to school by next year. Now, this is nice. Okay, from again Manitoba Education, students in kindergarten to grade 8 will proceed to the next grade in September and should not receive an incomplete on the June 2020 report cards, which makes sense, right? So if you are currently in grade 7, for sure you will be in grade 8 next time you come into John this September. And if you are in grade 8, currently in grade 8, then you will be in grade 9, okay? But then just be prepared with the marks that you see there, okay? Now with the report cards for the grade 9s, the same run of things you get to see. One strength, one challenge, one next step. There is an extra line on credit granted, credit not granted, and then a comment on your online learning engagement during the pandemic. And I'm sure no matter what your high school of choice would be, there would be recovery steps or measures undertaken by them to kind of bridge again those learning gaps. So, credit granted, that means you move on to grade 10 automatically. Now, in the event that you say credit not granted, what are your options? So, you can always retake the course in grade 10, why not? Or you can register in the division's academic summer school program. Now, notice instead of the letter S here, I put in the $sign because that means it has a cost to attend these summer classes. So, there are two sites for the summer school program academic. For the division, it will be at Andrew Minarski, and the other one will be at Grand Park. So it will start July 8th to July 31. And we observe social distancing, so it will be limited to 16 students in the class. So remember, the summer school program would be an in-person, in-class learning. So repeater classes, let's say you failed or you didn't get credit for grade 9, grade 10, 11, or 12, there is a cost to that. It's 210, okay? If you don't want to pay, then this is what the government is proposing, right? It has expanded access to summer school programming for grades 9 to 12 students in Manitoba with InformNet. So this is another learning management system similar to Blackboard. So if you're already familiar with Blackboard, you can feel an outright affinity or familiarity with InformNet. It's essentially the same. So, and the wonderful thing about this is student fees for InformNet summer school courses will be waived for 2020. You have nothing to pay for, okay? What is expected of you would be to commit to 45 hours of curriculum content learning. So it can be online or there's a paper copy. So you don't have to be physically in a room, okay? And there will be a certified teacher there with experience to help you out. So again, InformNet, kind of like Blackboard, and soon to be replaced with Brightspace. So I have another DI about Brightspace later on. And that's essentially what this sharing piece is all about. people. And I want to thank you all. You've been very good students. Okay. And thank you also to the parents, the guardians, and most especially my teaching learning partners through this pandemic time. So I have Lou, Jetty, Auntie, and Frank. And of course, on the side, I also had Mr. Dyer, Mr. Chandra phoning you to just be on Google Classroom. Okay, so thank you. Have a wonderful summer, right? So enjoy July and August. Okay, ciao.